I'm Simon King, and this is What's Wrong. What's wrong is we recorded 12 minutes of this, and the video wasn't on. But because we now have a video component, and apparently between everyone in this room, no one could figure out how to make any of it work.
That's my fault. I'll take the L on that
My
one.
erstwhile producer, Mikey Greenwood, failed to produce in a choke situation. In a choke situation. He failed. He dropped the balls. But it's okay because our guest was stunned into silence for the entire time anyway. Had no clue what's happening. Was so scared, just wandering in off the street. You don't even know what you're doing here.
Off now.
Yeah.
He just came here to look at rocks.
Yeah.
And
there's none even here.
So
I was misled.
You were misled about the rocks. None of this rocks. Let's be quite frank about it. If you are new to the podcast, welcome to What's Wrong with Simon King. I am Simon King, and if you are listening to this from your Apple Podcasts, from your Google Play, where you could, rate and review would be great. It's the same podcast it always was, but totally different, because I've just decided I don't want to just talk to myself anymore. I would like to talk to other people who are trapped in a small room with me while we get drunk, which seems like a good way to spend my time, especially since the apocalypse is coming. This is what it's going to be like anyway. There's going to be a lot of people.
This is bunker prep.
All podcasts, no listeners. That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be a bunch of people. This is the Schrodinger's podcast. No one knows if it's actually happening. Is it really? If you put a bunch of comedians in a room and you poison their livers, will they be dead? But what we're doing now is, if you're just listening to this, you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thecitizenstrange, or you can go to thisissimonkking.com, click the YouTube link there. That's probably easier, other than writing The Citizen Strange. I came up with that YouTube channel like 15 years ago. It was a good idea at the time. It doesn't make sense now. The point is, or you can just Google this Simon King comedian, or you can just Google fathead, or you can just Google loser who doesn't know it's over, but he's still trying. If you can Google those. So go there, subscribe, and the podcast comes out every week. And then if you go to patreon.com/thisissimonkking, there will be an extra bonus episode every month, maybe more. You don't know. So as is the way, I have my producer, Mikey Greenwood, with us as always. You may not see him. And that's because he's painted himself purple in some sort of weird grimace racial thing. We're not sure what that's about. It's very inappropriate.
Yeah.
When purple face comes back, when people are like, you know what, you can't do purple face anymore.
It was really it's the detail around the mouth that he did.
That's the creepy part, right?
Yeah.
He's got those big, weird, like Kardashian lips. And then purple face. He looks like an Oompa Loompa who's trying to kill himself by hanging.
Yeah.
It's just like, which is I think what Grimace is. I think Grimace was an Oompa Loompa on HGH.
Yeah.
Dylan Reimer is here. What do you want?
I know what Grimace is.
He's a taste bud.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Really?
But
well,
it's
that's one of the theories.
But it's funny if you say he's a suicidal Oompa Loompa.
But why isn't his name Bud? Anyway.
Because could you imagine if like a kid's character was a purple guy named Bud who tried to give you toys?
Could you imagine if a kid's character is a gland on the human tongue?
Yeah.
At least it's the tongue
Called
gland.
grimace, which is a face you make when you're not having fun.
How many purple glands could he have been?
I only have one.
That's my favorite band, is the Purple Clans.
Yeah.
And Shot in the Dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the podcast. What we're going to do is what we normally do. I will complain about something initially, then we will talk about it, and then we will go, let's get random, and then we'll do that, and then we'll finish it up, and then this is our new format, and I don't know how it fucking works.
Correct.
And Mike's going to laugh at everything. This is why I bring him in.
Yeah.
Mike is the human equivalent of Molly. He just makes you just want to touch him. You want to touch him.
Yeah.
So fuzzy. People don't realize that
Despite the body paint.
Mike looks like he became a real boy and escaped the garden center. So
and went straight to the skate park.
we'll put exactly. He's like, oh, someone answered all the riddles. I can finally go hang 10 or whatever the fuck.
Hang
I don't know what the fuck.
I know sports.
Riddle-dee-dee, riddle-dee-da. Wicked move, brah. Anyway, no one knows about Surfer Gnome. Oh, Surfer Gnome was a very short-lived series.
Yeah. They're not great swimmers historically.
No, they're not. Little tiny legs. So what's wrong this week? What's wrong this week? I know. I'm just like falling apart here. I'm like not. I used to be funny without dying. now it's like Now I have to die in the end.
You were dying the whole time.
I was dying the whole time, really. That's that misnomer that people think that you're just like, oh man, I'm living my life. No, you're dying your life. You're dying your life as you go.
Using it up.
You're living your life in utero. Then once you show up, you're dying your life.
I've been out of utero for 31 years now.
Yeah. And which is weird because, before MapQuest and shit, you couldn't figure out how to get out. But now, once you're out of utero, MapQuest.
There was no one to ask directions.
No directions. It was just guessing.
Yeah.
Go towards the light. So what I think is wrong is I'm going to talk about plastic bag bans. And I don't know if your city, country, state, wherever you are, whatever planet you're on, greetings, Glorbnobs. No one's ever said that before. No. I think maybe they have. No. Maybe that's how their news on Glorbnob goes. Greetings, Glorbnobs.
Why does it start in English?
Well, that's the thing. That's the point. Is people don't know it. It's like namaste. They just say it, right? Greetings, Glorbnobs. And people are like, he does yoga. I wonder if there's an alien civilization out there that uses one human word that they just kind of like. You know how like you'll see like a black market like t-shirts and stuff in like Asia, and they'll have like phrases that don't make sense. It'll just be like half a like Screaming Trees lyric or some shit like that. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then people are walking around with like, oh, shoot me in the face or whatever on their shirt with like unicorns. I wonder if that's a thing on alien planets, because there's aliens for sure, and they're watching this. Why wouldn't you? You want to get an insight into why we need to be exterminated? This here. This here in Putin's video diary. They were mean to me again. They said I should sit on phone book at UN. I killed them all. Anyway. So do you think small amounts... So I think that the idea of pacifying people by acting like anything we can do, like small things we can do at a consumer level, is ridiculous. Because in reality, global polluters, industry is what really causing the majority of the problem. I'm not saying that the individual is not responsible. Of course, they should be held responsible for, I create a lot of trash every week on the podcast.
That's why we're here.
I create a lot of trash, and most humans do. Canada particularly is very bad for individual trash production. But I do think environmentally, I think the idea of giving us these little piecemeal pacification things of like, oh, well, if you get an electric car, or it always seems to be if you buy something, you can help. If you buy an electric car, you can help. It's never kill 8 people.
Yeah.
Which is really what would solve the problem. If they were like, you really want to fix the fucking environmental problem? Take this, put it in the water supply. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
That's what they've been doing with fluoride the whole time.
Like, right. But it's like they never do that. They never encourage. There's never instead of a suicide hotline, a homicide hotline where you just call up and they give you incentives. Be like, yeah, and they're fucking driving slow in the fast lane. And you're like, yeah. It's like sharpening a chisel.
Or the homicide hotline like encouraging you to kill people, or is it teaching you to kill people?
Well, both. You call up and you're like, oh, I've just been having these thoughts, and I was in rush hour today, and they're like, yeah, those people fucking need to die, and you're like, they do need to die before you know it. They ramp you up
by saying how much they'll reduce the carbon footprint if they.
That's all it is. It's just giving you incentive, positive incentive. No one's gonna miss them. Look at them.
That's a starter, but then the closer is a guy you connect to, and he's just like, it's just a sharp blow to the back of the head. It doesn't have to be messy.
You don't even feel it.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly easy to kill a human. Next up, you can kill a human with a wet finger.
Namaste.
Namaste.
What do you think is your biggest carbon footprint?
I have Sasquatch. Okay. Because he has the big. Imagine if that was he was known as Sasquatch. He has regular feet, but it's his carbon footprint the whole time. He's just out there rolling coal in a tractor, just
private jets.
It's just terrible about it. He just he doesn't give a shit. He's just throwing styrofoam out his window.
You have to he needs to do a private jet. How would he make appearances at all of those forests? It's just him.
Yeah. That's the thing.
It's he has to support the entire Sasquatch industry.
Unless much like the strawberry alarm clock, his manager is sending out other Sasquatch to pretend they're actually Sasquatch.
Oh.
But the strawberry alarm clock did that. I don't know if anyone knows that. Yeah, Incense and Peppermints. They had that one song and then they died or something. I don't know. And then what happened was their manager was like, I've only got one band making money, but if I sent just a bunch of people out there making money and said they were Strawberry Alarm Clock, because no one knows what Strawberry Alarm Clock looks like. No one even knows what I'm saying right now.
So one manager had one band,
like
but multiple
5
people doing the band.
Yeah. What?
zombies did that too.
The zombies?
And eventually it got to a point where there were like 3 different very popular touring versions of the zombies, all calling themselves the zombies. And it became this big lawsuit thing.
Oh.
So it's like Gallagher 1 and
so
2.
Yes. But one of them was sued and had to not be the zombies anymore.
Oh.
Of the 3 zombies. But they played and they started playing blues rock, and they grew beards, and they became
The Grateful Dead.
ZZ Top.
Oh, no shit.
That's where ZZ Top gets.
Oh.
So here's where we go.
And that's where the Cranberries song "Zombie" came from. They were calling him out.
Yeah.
They were calling them out on it. And
They were actually just listing how
that's
many
why-
bands called Zombie.
That's why Dolores O'Riordan was killed.
Yeah.
So Simon, from here, why don't we just distribute multiple Simon Kings? I'll grow my hair out. I'll
There's
get a
enough.
beard.
There's
I'll do your
enough.
material, and we can have 10 Simon Kings.
There's enough. Let's face it, guys. I'm already using more than my fair footprint of words. You're allotted a certain amount. It's like an hourglass, and if you flip it over, like I'm at the last couple of grains. Like I'll have no choice but to become a mime or die at 51. Like I got no choice. I'm running out of shit to say.
Will you mime your suicide?
Yeah, and then the thing is, I'm gonna learn sign language, and I'll fuck that up in like a year and a half. Because I'll just be like, you can't give the finger that much when you're doing sign language. Apparently. Thanks, Tudor.
But
I mean Henry Tudor. Like
on the plastic bag ban,
Yeah.
though, I think it's been the best thing for Hollywood ever. Because now we can't get plastic bags, and paper bags are back. And there was like a good 10, 15 years where Hollywood kept using paper bags in every scene.
yeah.
Which nobody uses.
Yeah.
And so, like, it didn't make any sense.
you
And now they
think-
have this ban, and now this gap is closed. People watch movies and be like, that's how people carry groceries.
That and so here's the thing. I was thinking about this. I was watching Big Lebowski the other day, and I was realizing like the answering machine really was the ultimate writer's getaway with fucking. It was like you could just put a plot.
It was
point
an
in the scene.
exposition. It was an
It
exposition.
was so fucking easy. It was like just guy comes in getting a coffee. Hey, you remember that thing that happened with that thing? Hey, here's the other thing. He's like, oh right, and then it just
Yeah.
next scene. It was the laziest fucking writing.
Exposition
And when
dump.
cell phones showed up, Big Writer, which is what's controlling all of this, got really upset.
His name's actually Ryder.
And
too.
Big writer, and started making terrible movies to punish us.
Yeah.
Until we bring back answering machines.
Well, no, but now we're just projecting text messages onto the screen.
That's all it is
That's
now,
the
right?
replacement.
But
Yeah.
even then, it's not the same though, because you can't have someone. You have to have someone like looking at their phone or something. You
Right.
can't have just someone come in and like, I'm having a coffee, and then it's like, oh, here's.
It was
a
a white
plot
Russian
point.
in the scene,
Yeah, white
but
Russian.
yeah.
Are there any other kinds of Russian? There's not a lot of Russian Soul Train, is there? Is that a lot of that? Yeah, it's Soul
jazz
Train.
scene in Russia.
It's Soul Train, but has nukes on it. No more Soul Train. Anyway, I think there's a placation that's existing here, and I think what it is it's an attempt to divert from the real problem. If you actually really gave a shit about the environment in the case, you would be starting to, and I think we might have to eventually starting to push for like these industrial polluters to change their shit, because they're not doing anything. I mean, every so often they'll get hit by a fine. Like you can never use a plastic bag in your entire life. You can live 150 years and you will have made no difference to the fucking one day of the oil spill in the Gulf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're killing jellyfish by pouring poison on them, and you're like, well, I better use my recycle bag.
And all we can do
You know
is
what I mean?
put plastic bags in the ocean to replace the jellyfish.
Exactly.
They look the same.
They do look the same. And have you ever thought about using jellyfish as plastic bags? I bricked again. I can never get these oranges home.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to get your manivore into the CVS?
What is this little tiny one? That's no good at all. Irukandji. I can't carry anything in an Irukandji. And now I'm dead. That's another thing is like, wouldn't it be amazing if humans had stings? Mm-hmm. Like if you could sting, if you had spikes or a sting, that would change shit drastically. I think the
where would you
smaller
put
you
it?
are, I don't know, but I think the smaller you are as a human, the more deadly you should be. Like a poison arrow frog.
Right.
Like Danny DeVito should be a fucking killing machine. You know what I mean?
But if
just spores.
If that's really going to be laws of nature, they also have to be more colorful. Like Danny DeVito should be the most rainbow-skinned man
He should have like
to
flaps.
warn other predators.
Should have like flaps that come out. Peter Dinklage should just run at you with like feathers.
yeah. He
And
just
then
looks like a bird of paradise.
I'm 5'10", so I'm not small enough to be deadly, and I'm not big enough to be like. So I'm just like one of those ones where it's like, he's like a hoverfly. You
Yeah.
know, like I've got the sweater on that's yellow and black. I'm like, bzzz, and they're like, yeah, harmless.
Yeah, it doesn't sting.
You can sting me once, but you're gonna fucking have a heart attack. That would be rough. Imagine if you could punch someone once and then you die.
yeah.
You'd have picked that move. That would the thing is like if you did it, then there'd be no assault charges. Because like you fucking earned it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think that'd be. But then like no one would punch. We would just have like punching guns.
Punching guns.
We would replace
Gun
we would
fronts.
replace punching immediately.
Punching guns.
We don't have a punching gun in our back pocket.
Just a fist on
Yeah.
a thing like
Well, it's like a Looney Tunes
Roger
prop,
Rabbit. That would really change warfare. If
That would
all,
change
if
fist
all,
fights.
If all weapons had to be non-lethal.
I love the idea of like a street fist fight, two like guys shit faced in a bar, and they both come out with their little like Jack in the Box with a handle on the side, and they're just circling each other like who's gonna get who with their punching guns?
Just totally remakes West Side Story. I do think that it would be amazing if all war weapons were outlawed, which they should be, and were replaced by non-lethal, like nunchucks. It's all nunchucks. Because if you had a war with just nunchucks, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and also, how are you going to harm an innocent civilian with nunchucks? There's no ricochet with a nunchuck. You're going to hit yourself in the nuts a
The
lot.
wars would never end. It's just constant.
Like an airplane with nunchucks on the front? That's going to be difficult. Air-to-air nunchucks. Oh!
Yeah, still counts. It's legal.
It's like, all right, well, we have developed spiky ball. It's like some shit like that.
I just watched a movie called Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is like a classic 80s schlock movie, and it's stars nothing but a bunch of Playboy models at the time, and one of them is a secret agent that uses nunchucks, but she uses them the way that you or I would if we were just suddenly given nunchucks. And just so every time, like the first scene that she uses them, she throws them at a man, which is not how you use
No,
them.
that's not how you use nunchucks.
And then every other scene you see her with him, she's holding them by the back and just beating a man with like the chain end.
It's like, this stick is broken. It's a broken stick. That's not a good martial arts weapon, is broken stick. I love all those, you watch Chinese martial arts movies, which I used to I grew up on that. I love that shit. The old Kung Fu movies. But they would just try to one-up themselves with weirder and weirder weapons. Like, this is just a bunch of rings on a stick. It's like, what does that do? He's got to get his arm in there. It's like, it's like,
I had to train for 15 years.
Why? Just use a gun. They have guns.
Yeah, use your
it's
punching gun.
1700. You don't need stick thing. Like you're just looking around for a weapon. We gotta make a new martial arts movie. What are we gonna use? That's a big patch of grass. All right, put that in a bag. Patch of grass in a bag, right?
Yeah.
Plastic bag. There you go. That's the martial arts weapon.
Yeah, the origin of every martial arts weapon was just like a 13-year-old sketching things on the back of his trapper keeper. And he'd never been in a fight before in his life, and he's just like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to dedicate my life to making this work. This is an absurd knife on the end of a chain, but I'm going to make it happen.
Gunchucks. Nunchucks that are guns.
Yeah, exactly. Why has no one thought of this?
Who do you guys pick if you had to choose between Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan? Which is your like more preferred movie?
For a date?
Just like for a date, like which movies
Because I
you
think
enjoy
I
more?
think Jackie.
Who's the
or
top?
a date or a date.
I think Jackie Chan would be more interesting because he just done more stuff. You know, like I think Bruce would be a lot like, oh, you didn't see me pass you the salt, now it's in your face. Painful. You know what I mean? Be a lot of just him taking the bread roll faster than you. You're like, what the fuck, man? It's like, I wanted the roll.
Yeah.
Should have moved faster.
I'd go with Jackie Chan just for the decibels. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I'd be able to have a conversation with him without the shrieking,
Yeah.
which would be nice.
There'd be a lot of Bruce Lee just like starting shit with. I think Bruce Lee would probably be starting shit with everybody.
He's just a confrontational dude.
Because Jackie Chan was like, I'm an actor. Bruce Lee's like, I just kick a lot of ass. And then they put it on the TV.
I think that was like, I'm not a big sports guy. The video
No.
guys already know that. But
No, the audio people know.
yeah,
too.
they know that too.
Everybody knows.
My biggest disappointment, like
I'm not a big sports guy, but here's my March Madness picks. Let's check it out. Yeah, there's no Jurassic bracket.
the audience doesn't know I'm a geologist yet.
They do now.
I'm a geologist.
The audience doesn't
That's
know.
why he keeps making rock jokes.
If they saw the video, they assume, Gavin.
That is my favorite memoir. The audience doesn't know I'm a geologist. And it's just a picture of a guy in a punk band on the back with a little tiny rock hammer.
Yeah, that's my mom rock album.
The audience doesn't know I'm a geologist yet. Oh, fuck, that's got to be a podcast. And it's just you revealing things about geology that nobody knows nor is interested in.
No, exactly.
Although I did learn some stuff about geology from you.
Oh, yeah?
It's boring.
No. I didn't even have a chance.
All right, what were you saying?
What was? Oh
Sports.
yeah, I was all excited when UFC started becoming a thing, because it was like all like no holds barred, like actual, fighting. Like there's rules so you don't kill a guy, but it's still just like the best puncher wins kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was all stoked to finally see, some like monk come down from a mountain and do some real flashy kung fu stuff. But it didn't happen. That never happened.
And it just blood sports.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. But the existence of UFC disproved every kung fu movie I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Because they just end with the two bloody dudes hugging on the ground.
You know why?
Every
But you know
UFC
why?
fight.
Because the kung fu master can't get involved in something like that. The kung fu master has to respond to someone who is weaker being attacked. So if UFC started with like the other fighter slapping ice cream out of a child's hand,
right?
Like
then
you just climb over and be like, what? Like if that's how it started, like if it was like Retribution UFC,
Right.
like some guy's forging the Shaolin monk's name on a check, and he's like, what the fuck?
Instead of the weigh-in where they like face each other down a month before the match, they're like he just faces down a kid and just smacks him in the face, and then they just
like,
start the ring and they're like he'll show.
UFC should start with 6 months of them commenting on each other's Facebook pages. Like it just should start with that. Just 6 months of like, yeah, well I did my research. Oh, the shit on you. And then it's just that's how UFC works.
Yeah.
Not professional fighters, just two internet Reddit dickheads who just fucking get into, and they don't know how to fight.
Research.
No.
And then there's always one of them who's like, I could fight you, but it's too dangerous. Like one of those guys.
I am
That would be my UFC move. Would be like, I'm not allowed to fight. Like I could, but I'm not. As I'm getting the shit kicked out of me.
I checked with my wife.
I'm just shit kicked out of me. I don't want to kill you. That would be my. That should be it. So that's the only way you're gonna get your Batman.
Yeah.
Or whoever. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Is you're gonna have something that makes him or her fight the crime. Like
Right.
that's the only way, because they can't just show up and show off. That's not, you can't just
An origin story of sorts.
Yeah, it has to be in retribution for something. It can't just be, I'm going to fight because I'm real good at kung fu. Like, I'm sure they have monks like that, but they're probably making money, like, doing other stuff.
Right.
Like
Throwing pins through
forcers.
panes of glass on YouTube.
Retribution UFC, that's the greatest
like
thing.
Retribution
That's
UFC.
awesome.
Hey, I heard what you said about my sister. It's like, all right. I don't know why I made a duck sound. Duck UFC would be something else. Oh,
Have you ever wished retribution on someone? Has there ever been a moment you've wished revenge on
That's
someone?
why I'm doing the podcast. This is all to punish anyone who's ever been a fan.
This is about you, Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh, you liked my show? Pay attention. This is all I am.
This is all one big retribution.
Drunk and angry. The life. I think I've wished retribution on people occasionally. I mean, but mostly they're people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they're people, they're just people. Like you just see a guy on a SkyTrain, you're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't even know why, but like, fuck you. Those pants. Like I saw a guy. This was the fucking. Have you ever seen there's this phenomenon of like rent-a-cop people, like people who pretend they're police or people who. I saw this for a while in the early 2000s. There was a lot of skinny dudes in black trench coats sitting on public transit with sunglasses on, just staring at like they're fucking Neo. And like, we know what you are, you dork. And it was a remarkable amount of it. And I couldn't fucking help myself, to the point where I downloaded, before it was common, when you had to download ringtones, I downloaded the old phone ringtone so that I would occasionally play it when one of these fuckers was sitting there just thinking like, he's got to be looking for an exit. And he just jumps out of the fucking... there was so much of it. There was so much of it, right? It was so common. Dylan's broken the fucking studio.
I can fix it.
He fixed the camera.
He's fixing the studio.
I can fix
Putting it back together. All right, you're putting it back together.
That is so funny.
But yeah, no, there was a lot of these dudes where they were just like, I was like, what a point in your life do you think you're like, when I saw this movie? That's me. But they never do it with like the movie Splash, where there's like
You can just make fun of me by name,
sitting
Simon
there
King.
on SkyTrain with their fucking fishtail, like, I'm Tom Hanks' girlfriend. Like,
I think
there's
that's a
never
very active internet subculture if you really want to.
Yeah, furries but splashies.
Yeah,
And they just
splashies.
have fish parts. Splashies.
Fish parts is the one you don't want to Google.
Where are we at for time? Is it random time?
25.
25. It's probably time for Let's Get Random. All right.
Random.
All right. What's up? What do we got, Mikey?
What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, Lord.
You go first. Guess first.
Oh, I go first. What is my favorite childhood memory? That is a tricky one because my memory is not great.
What's your first association of something positive from your childhood?
My first association of something positive. Oh, when I was a little kid, we would go on I grew up in the Yukon, so like small town outdoorsy kind of vibes. And every summer we would go on these river canoe trips.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they were these camping trips, and it'd be like 7 days going down the river to to Dawson, which was the next town down the line. Yeah, so that was the outdoorsy experience.
How did you
type
get back?
Of that. What's that?
How'd you get back?
We would park one of the parents would drive them, they would go down in Dublin and park a car at the end, and then drive.
Someone
back.
would drive back.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
So they
and
were just
shuttle
someone
the car.
waiting there for 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. We just showed up at the end. We're like, wait, rivers
This
only
isn't
go
fun for me.
Rivers only go one way. Did we know that? Who knew?
This isn't fun.
Why didn't anyone tell us that?
I've been here for a week. I'm down to my last shotgun shell, and this bear is not leaving me alone. Like, I need help. Just firing rounds downrange. You show up. There's someone just like,
He's getting used to the noise.
he's not afraid anymore. He's not afraid at all. I think he speaks English or Dutch. It's something.
Dutch bear is very
I gotta say,
prevalent.
that's a pretty
bear.
heavy question for a random question generator.
It is, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is, by the way. Let's Get Random is a random question generator because I've run out of things to say. So we just hit Mikey to randomly generate a question, which I guess we could do twice or 3 times or whatever we
Yeah,
want.
that's true.
But we could, I mean, that's a nice memory. You do, that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what was the question? Was it
There's not much to riff on.
Favorite childhood memory
favorite childhood memory?
or fond one?
Fun childhood memory. I do like, we used to go, me and the family, me and the family.
Where are you from?
But my mom, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so we didn't have a lot of vacations and shit. But what we did was we would go on on picnics for the day. So we had this big crazy old station wagon, like this big Ford LTD station wagon, which was like, you'd charge $1,800 a month for a studio apartment that size. Like it's just a fucking huge thing. And we would travel around. And we would go rain, shine, we'd go logging roads and just do whatever and have sandwiches and hang out. And that was it was something we would do because it was something to do. Plus, it was the early 80s. There were a lot of serial killers who wanted to get out of the house.
Yeah, fair.
Get away.
Actually, you were going up logging roads in the middle of nowhere. Maybe you were the serial killer family.
I never thought about that. I mean, we did get a lot of extra shoes we didn't need. There's a lot of shoes.
Those are
I never so often
None of them fit.
People would come and ask weird questions.
Yeah.
Like, where were you this day? And they're like, we were on vacation.
A lot of women's shape-ups, weirdly.
Yeah, weirdly enough, there was a lot of that, and yeah, well, we went through more duct tape than you'd think. But anyway, for a regular family of 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, I don't know how many rolls you go through, 8, 9 rolls a week, Like, it's
Depends
a lot.
on the size of the
It's a lot,
station wagon.
Yeah, but boy, am I good with bleach. Anyway, the point.
Every time we came back from our picnic times, had to bleach down the car.
Oh,
I remember that.
You even lived till you pulled out a hobo's toenails. All right, so. I can tell you that.
That is so specific.
That is, yeah. Anyway, it's past the statute of limitations. So,
He was a kid when he did it. So.
yeah, I don't even remember
childhood
that.
memory.
I'm innocent. Yeah, I turned this into a true crime podcast really quickly. It's fucking creepy as shit. I don't like how the true crime podcast is that's a thing now.
And it's huge. It's
It's the biggest genre.
I wanted to
Yeah.
do just a fake one where I just made up crimes that
Yeah.
didn't happen. Like in 1997,
pretty awesome.
in a small mountain town, a leopard arrived. It's like, what? It turned out there was a man who used leopards like nunchucks. What's going on?
Do you like true crimes? Do you have a favorite one or anything? Or do you?
My favorite true crime?
Like, it's
Oh,
big
the
now, they're
Holocaust.
everywhere.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a true crime, you
My
know.
wife has a favorite true crime.
If I had to pick a crime that actually happened that I enjoy, oh
I
wow!
was watching a documentary, the Green River Killer.
Against humanity, or just because it's different genres, right?
True.
Like sometimes I'm sitting down, I like to listen to a quiet murder. Maybe it's the spouse.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, give me something massive.
What's your favorite double digiter?
You hate on something, my wife.
Oh wow! Oh, my favorite double-digit true crime, Jonestown, because it's
Great
got that
choice.
vintage thing to it. It's got a cult aspect.
Got the family angle.
charismatic.
Yeah. Everyone participating.
Everyone gets involved.
Yeah.
It's a family affair.
It is, yeah.
Which is cue when we play the music we can't afford to pay for. All right, let's have another random one.
Another random one is when did you know the moment you're going to pick the career you are living?
That was weird. Did you just gong?
I hit
Did you
this
just
thing.
summon someone?
The ghost came,
Boom.
and then Dylan came once you hit it.
Well, yeah, that was weird. You gonged it, and then Dylan
me
showed up,
too.
and you saw casual, like, hello.
I've always been here.
The ghost of comedy future. Change your ways. You go first. The ghost of... No, not the ghost of...
When did you know
What's
you
your
were going to be a
favorite
geologist?
true ghost?
I wanted I'm my day job's I'm a geologist, and
You
as a
said that like a geologist.
I did.
He did.
That had too much enunciation, didn't it? That's not how people say it.
Yeah, there was-
geologist. But as a kid, I always wanted to be a scientist because like I wasn't super popular in like elementary school and stuff, and people would make fun of me for liking science shit.
Yeah.
And I took that as I couldn't discern negative attention from positive. I'm like, that's why they like me, and I decided to turn that into a career. So they'd be like, "Oh, fucking, you like the space shuttle nerd?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really cool." Awesome. You want to learn more about it? Like, oh yeah, tell us about the space shuttle. I'd be like, oh, gladly.
That explains comedy, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically you can't tell. You're like, I think they like me. It's like, are they laughing with me? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll just do it.
I only know attention.
Yeah,
I don't know the flavors of it.
How'd you go from geologist to comedian then?
That one was the urge for attention. That was like because I did the scientist part, but math was hard, so I went for the geologist part of the science, which is a lot more pencil crayons than equations.
And they don't mind if you steal rocks, unlike working at the morgue. Where if you take something home, they want it back.
Yeah, you can't take your work home with you.
Unused, which is not fair.
Yeah, that's
a
why I
perk.
took
It's
it
a
home.
Perk. It's a perk.
I would have assumed the answer was time and pressure.
Oh,
Hey!
hey, there it is.
Do. Anyway, tragedy plus time equals pressure. That's
That's your album.
there you go. Tragedy plus time equals pressure.
That is
Just you on the front, like trying to crush her. Make a diamond out of this
no
joke.
cat between your hands?
If I crush these jokes hard enough, they'll become diamonds.
That's what I've learned.
I'm gonna call my album Carbon Fat Print. It's just me eating coal.
Was there a moment you knew you wanted to be a comedian? Was there a defining moment? Or is that
I
just
can't do
specific?
anything else. I literally cannot do anything else. I've been an entertainer since I was 7. I've been
You
on
did want to
stage.
be a pilot?
I did want to be a pilot. I really thought I would be a good bush pilot. Before it turned out that was not sexual. I don't know. I was 14.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a bush pilot because I wanted to be a bush pilot in Iceland. Because I saw a documentary and I was like,
So
this is
specific.
where bush
What?
pilots die. And I was like, that's for me. Even at 14, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to save for retirement. I want to crash into a volcano.
You wanted the high risk piloting.
Yeah, well, I thought it would be kind of fun because it was like I was always in. And then I went to flight school for a bit, and then my flight school closed because the guy that owned the flight school tried to land a helicopter on Mount Everest. And the Chinese
Holy
government-
shit, is
and
that a
then-
try?
It's true. And then the
So he
Chinese
did
government,
succeed?
the Chinese government took his helicopter away, and then he couldn't afford to get it back, and he got stuck in China, and he spent all the money, and he had to sell the school. And I showed up when it was closed.
That's terrific.
That's actually what happened.
That's such a funny
Yeah.
goddamn story.
Helicopter got impounded
Yeah.
by the Chinese
That's exactly
government.
what happened.
Did he get it? How high did he
I don't
get?
fucking know. He might be dead. I have no fucking idea. Because he had bought this old Sikorsky helicopter
Yeah.
with these big fat blades. So he thought to himself, "Well, I'll just land a helicopter on Mount Everest." This is like 1993.
Jesus Christ.
You know, like it was not. Yeah, this is what he did. And then I remember he was my instructor. And then I showed up one day and he wasn't there. And the other instructor's like, "Oh, he's coming back. He's just doing a thing." And the thing he's doing is fucking landing a helicopter on Mount Everest. But the Chinese were like, "You have to ask us. Like, we own this." Kind of like we don't, but we do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Economically.
they just wouldn't give his helicopter back. And he's like, "But that's my helicopter." And like, fuck off. And he's
Yeah.
like, that's it. Yeah. What?
Sorry,
You're here.
that's not the biggest problem with that. You can't fly a fucking helicopter to the top of Mount Everest.
No, it wasn't to the top. He wanted to be the highest up to land.
Because I saw this.
The air's way
Did
too
you ever
thin.
see Everest, the documentary, the IMAX documentary, narrated by Liam Neeson?
Back in the day.
About the Paw Patrol character?
And it's like there's a dude who like broke like both his legs or whatever, and they're like, he'll die if we don't. And this one
Yeah.
heroic helicopter pilot's like, that's like 1,000 feet higher than any helicopter
Yeah.
ever gone.
I do
And
remember
he
that.
Did it, and it was super dangerous.
Yeah.
And that was neat. That wasn't anywhere close to the
No, he was not trying to land on the top. He was trying to be the highest ever to land
trying to
on
beat
Mount
Gotcha.
Everest.
And he obviously didn't land because they got his helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, they got it.
He just pretty much landed at the Chinese airport, and they're like,
They're
no,
like,
no,
"You
no,
can't
no,
go
no,
up
no,
now."
no.
That's ours now.
Yeah, if you land at the top, it'd still be there.
I mean, there comes a point with Mount Everest too. Is like how many people are going to try and be the first to do something on Mount Everest? There was that guy who's the first blind guy to
Right.
climb Mount Everest, which I really think you got to give the award to the dog. But anyway, because he's the one that did the work. Because the guy's just like, "Where are we going?" And the dog's like, "I'm fucking cold."
Yeah.
Like I know I have fur, but it's cold. But then, like, what else do you do with it? Like, the first Starbucks on Mount Everest. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How many times? It's yeah. Oh, great. It's a big pointy bit of rock that's very tall.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else do we do with it?
Yeah, cover it with more garbage.
Is that the scientific term, geologist? That's
Yeah.
Big pointy
Very tall rock.
Big pointy tall
Big-
rock.
Yeah, big pointy tall rock.
That's the thing you don't know
And
about
it's why I
scientists.
didn't go to flight school.
That's the thing you don't know about scientists. They don't know any of the words. They just make it up. You come in and they'll be like, "Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, what?" And you'd be like, "You don't understand. I'm a scientist."
Oh no, we bury everything in technical terms so you don't realize how simple
I
everything
mean,
is.
you know what I love about scientists too is like particularly like theoretical physicists always blew my mind because there's no way to prove them wrong, so we're just taking their word for it because they sound like a robot. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's fucking true. Like we have nobody here is gonna call bullshit on a quantum physicist.
No.
Like no one's gonna be like, "Fuck you, Planks." Like no one's gonna do that because they don't know. And everyone's just like, "I guess everything's made of something," and they're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Like they just all agree.
Yeah.
Like they just all get together and go, "We want to look smart at parties." So what we're gonna say is everything is really tiny, right? And you can't see it. It's like God. It's like you can't see it. It doesn't exist, but you got to trust as it's there. And everyone's like, "Okay, well at least I'm an atheist." You know what I mean? Like it's like, everything just fall for it.
That's what makes me laugh about string theory. Because I always imagine them like dangling string.
Yeah.
In front of a
That's
cat.
what makes me laugh about string theories. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, string theory. You may as well say shiny object.
Yeah.
theory, you fucking idiot. I love string.
It's so one of those things where you're just like you can't call bullshit on it. And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson has never been to space. He could be lying. He's never been up there. It's just like, it's freaking big. And
Yeah.
we're like, I guess. Like, I mean, look, I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I get why people think it. Because I'm
would
just
you-
like, hold on a second, what? Like
Would you
nothing-
believe Neil deGrasse Tyson's like equations more if he went up to space and looked at it through a
Yes!
window? And now you're
If
and now
he
you're
went-
like,
not
there we
just
go.
looked at it. I need him to be out there touching it, feeling it, right? You just got to get a feel for it.
Gotta get a
right?
taste. Open the visor.
All I'm telling you this, I'm not going to watch a car review where the person doesn't go near the car. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's like, "Oh, the new Mini's great. Have you driven one?" No, but I like the look of them, and I know all the numbers. Well, fuck you. What does it drive like?
Every scientist at the CERN laboratory, that big collider, all of them are just like, guys, be real quiet or they'll pull our funding for this giant.
I love how important the CERN scientists must have felt when they were like, that news story came out briefly, like they could tear a hole in space and time. Like,
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
And it was like, no. But for a while, the scientists were like,
Yeah, exactly.
they were just
Yeah,
like,
some of them got pussy on that.
oh
story.
yeah, they were like getting extra ribs at the Applebee's. They were just like, you know what? In fact, with me,
Fair enough, yeah.
I know the Higgs boson.
Yeah, fair. I started with like, they definitely got pussy on that story, and you're like, no, they got
got
extra rings at the Applebee's. That's more
Because
accurate.
even then, it's no girls like, so it's like what, like a particle or like that? No, it's like the beginning of all life.
Well, I mean, not like I have the plan B pill, so like whatever.
I don't know why I'm making out that lady to be super ditzy, but she's the kind of person the scientists would pick on because that's the thing they had the poster of on their wall, and they don't know what real women are like.
That's very
and
true.
And there's a scientist woman right next to them going like, "I'm smart," and they're like, "Yeah, but like boobs." But like, we're scientists, we don't understand, right? We're smart about some things, dumb about everything else.
Yeah.
We like the Big Bang Theory. We think it's about us. It's not about you. That's just such a fucking nerd fetish show, but it's not actually
it.
nerd fetish.
I hate it so bad.
Like, okay, so Sheldon's wicked autistic, but where's the fucking rage where he puts someone through a window, or the fact that he can't leave the house for 5 days? That should be the Big Bang Theory. He's a genius, but he also bites his fingernails down to the bone and fucking screams out the window at people and just pisses on people's rugs and gets dry heaves whenever he has to talk to another human. If that was just like, "Oh, you're Sheldon," That's the Big Bang Theory. Where's that? Where's the lack of eye contact? At no point in every episode, Sheldon looks at me and was like, actually, it's broccoli night. Like, there's never that shit.
They definitely took all the like remarkable
Yeah,
traits.
they took all the superhero shit about being autistic. Oh, he can read a book with each eye. Great, but where's the can't bathe himself when he's 52? All right, where's the Kim Peek version? Like, yeah, he's a superhero. He's super intelligent, but everything comes at a cost. I'm hilarious. I'm ugly, but I'm so funny. Anyway,
Sure, he can read a book with each eye. The fun. Okay, it's picture of like
Bathe
this
himself.
camera heading, just like I learned physics at Shakespeare.
Just a highly realistic version of the Big Bang Theory, where they're just very sad, angry guys who are just on Reddit all day fighting with people. Every episode is this: I'm gonna dox this. Just getting a boner over Pokemon cards. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, get it together.
Half hours just him on a computer tossing people.
Because if the Big Bang Theory was real, they wouldn't notice Penny. They wouldn't even notice her. No. She wouldn't even get it because she's not some weird tentacled anime chick with a fucking foxtail in her asshole.
Yeah.
She'd just be like, they'd be like, well,
Who's the nerd? This is what I'm into anyway. I'm gonna watch the fifth version of Star Wars, and this one, the lightsaber's a different shade of purple. Anyway,
and it's like,
She just happens to love all their quirks.
Yeah.
It's-
their parents are proud of them. They just come over and be like, Jesus Christ, learn to throw a football. Anyway, I get it. You still have the fucking. You think Einstein's parents were talking shit at the fucking bake shop? They're like, yeah, my son, he over there, he's just invented the new way of gravity. I don't know. He just talks and talks. No idea. It was also 1911 or whatever when he fucking Einstein did that. It was like early 20th century. There's no way to prove him wrong. He damn near got burned for witchcraft. That motherfucker. He's like, the universe. It's like, you're talking a lot of shit for a guy who hasn't been in World War I yet.
So
That's what they said to him in 1911,
Yeah,
which
they did.
was like they should have listened to that.
Yeah. Tragedy plus time equals World War I. Anyway, I don't know. All right, what are we at?
I just want to make sure we're getting this goal. This
Yeah, no,
is-
I like how
folks.
Mikey, my producer, has now checked it for recording. That's good.
Sure.
So if you're just joining us because we only just started, I'm Simon King and this is What's Wrong. What the fuck?
No, we're good. It's just-
But that would be perfect for my podcast. Like just people in a room yelling and no one hears.
Oh,
Like that's
okay.
all it is. That's my comedy.
I thought you were like, that would be perfect for my podcast, Autistic Big Bang Theory. But
Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory, but when they hear the Big Bang Theory, they hide under the couch because it's a loud noise and they can't be around people. People who are afraid of Halloween, that kind of thing. There's never that. There's never that. Have you ever met a real genius in real life, like an actual legit genius, do you think?
I don't think they tell you. I'm pretty sure.
No, but I mean, but you could tell if there's someone's like operating on another level, right?
like
Like if they have their own podcast, like if they have that. I'm just saying, if someone went to the effort of like, doing a podcast, I'm
and
just
inviting
saying,
you on it.
and like gave you free booze, and, I'm just saying,
that kind of person.
Just if it was something anyway. So, no, but have you ever met one?
I did not that I'm aware of, but
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like if I met somebody who was on that other level, I would be convinced they were a serial killer and probably not want to talk to
I
them.
think so. Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a similar energy of someone who's in their head so hard.
I feel like I've met maybe one or two in my life. I think I have if I'm looking back on the people I've met that are disconcerting. But they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Because they're terrifying. Like someone who's legitimately that smart.
Like who's what's
Like-
an example of one of the people?
Here's a good example of someone. Well, my family are fucking smart. They really are. Like, my dad is one of those people that can like hear a piece of music and then just play it again instantly and change it and adjust it and make it better. And but he has that thing where he just does not have some of the social skills you need. And so, but I think it's like one of those things where it's like when you meet someone like that, like I've met people after shows that I'm like, yeah, something's off with you. But I don't think it's a bad off. Like you can tell when it's a bad off, right? Like when it's like, but you can tell sometimes when you're like, I don't know, like something about you. I remember running into a woman in Victoria once after a show, and having a conversation with her and just being felt like really out of my league. Like one of those, like I'm not stupid. I'm not a smart guy, but I'm not stupid. Like I can keep up. But it was one of those ones where I was just like, I'm not sure where like usually I have a roadmap of the conversation. I can figure out where we're going and I can kind of keep pace. But it was one of those ones where I'm like, no, like I don't know what's happening here. And it makes you feel tiny. And that's why I think anti-intellectualism is a thing, is because it's terrifying.
Right.
Because you have to also think that, like, particularly being a comedian and stuff, you surround yourself with people who tend to be quite bright, because that's just what comedy brings usually, is quite bright people. And because you surround yourself with that and because you come from that, you probably exist around those people. Most of the people you interact with on any interpersonal level, relationships or whatever, are usually quite bright, or at least the average or above. But you have to think that a lot of people aren't. Yeah. And so when you meet those people, however much fun it is to be like, that dude's stupid, which is true, fair enough, but it's also like,
Right,
if you're just if you're just smart enough to know you're dumb, that must be a fresh hell, man. Like, just could you imagine just being like being dumb enough to be dumb is like, fuck yeah, fucking punch him in the face, like just like that's great. Steaks, fucking steaks, like that's great. Sleep sometimes, Molly, like that's your day. But if you're just smart enough to go steaks,
Right.
Molly, not too much Molly, but then, like that sucks. You're just smart enough.
What Simon's opinion? He's just like, this guy likes steaks. He likes like MDMA. He likes house music. I'm like, this sounds pretty good.
House music. I never mentioned house music, but we know where you're at. It's like, I'm not eating steaks and doing Molly unless there's house
I'm
music.
sorry, Molly and MDMA, or sorry, Molly and steaks. That's house music.
Molly and steaks.
Molly and steaks.
It's also a great detective show.
Isn't it
Yeah.
funny how you
Molly and
guys,
steaks. I just want to touch. It's Master Chef on drugs. I want to touch all the meat. I'm gonna touch all the meat.
Every episode's the same.
What you doing?
It's just
While
steaks.
you touching my meat, you donkey. Oh, meat. I love touching meat. Just Master Chef on drugs. Hi, Master Chef. Who ate all the cheese?
are there geniuses out there with social skills, or do you
Yeah,
always
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
an RPG game where you
Yeah.
get intelligence and you have to take away from your like
I think it
social
does.
skills?
I think there is a diminishing return to a point. I think you get to a point where you're so smart,
It's
or you're
hard to
so intelligent. Oh, we're fucking out of booze. Holy shit, give him that.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's not Russian.
It's Tito's.
Oh, good. Tito's. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so Mexican stole
Mexican vodka.
Yeah. I thought it was a room
Mexican
of
vodka.
traitors.
We tried to make tequila. We fucked up.
Yeah.
Vodka.
Anything rots, it's vodka.
Anything rots, it's vodka. Anything rots, it's vodka. I love that. That's fucking great. Get that on a shirt. And then make
like a
vodka out of
rotten
the shirt.
potato.
Yeah. And then rot the shirt.
Yeah, I think there's I do think that that comes, but like, because you think about being like super smart. I don't think it would be good. I think being really intelligent being to the point where you're unrelated. Like, you want to be. Like, what was it, Einstein? I can't remember what he said, but basically the gist of it was like, you're only intelligent if you can explain the thing to everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, there's no point in being in the ivory tower and understanding all the stuff and having no communication with anybody. Like, what's the name of that?
You're only as intelligent as what you can articulate.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like at that point, it's like you can have all these high concept ideas and you have all this crazy brain power and everything, but it's like having a powerful engine and no tires on the car. You just can't get it to the ground.
Yeah.
And so I think that, unless you find someone who's able to translate that for you or get that across or whatever it is, or you have just enough, because I mean, IQ is a ridiculous thing to measure intelligence by. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. There's tons of different types of IQ. Says someone who got an IQ test of 89. The point is,
Mine's like 300.
300. Mine's
It doesn't matter.
89.
It doesn't matter. It's not real.
Mine's 89. They're bullshit. And I was tired, and one of my contact lenses wasn't working. The point is, and also, who the fucking needs to know those shapes? And math is bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point
the
is,
square shape fit right in the round hole.
they do,
was their
right? They
problem.
do fit in the round hole. If you push it hard enough, the
Yeah.
square shape fits in the round hole.
Yeah.
But why you can only get one contact in.
Yeah, well, that's how I can see everything in
My
3D.
square contacts wouldn't fit.
See everything in 3D, right? One contact's not working. So if I'm a sniper, but I'm up close, that's how I do it. I want to be able to. It's like a pirate where they have the thing of the patch over the eye. So when they go below decks, they flip it over. It's like this. If people get too close, close that eye, and I'm like, I can see you. You're able to be this close because I'm blind as shit. But the point is like, I do think that, like, IQ measurement is ridiculous. I mean, there's certain people that you look by their body of work, like Da Vinci, like Newton. Like, there's certain people, Curie. You look at their work and you go, well, these people, they were at a different level. They say shit that we don't see, and they operate. Like, what's that story about Isaac Newton where he's like, the French sent out a bunch of scientists to try and figure out the lungs of the lines of longitude, I think it was, or latitude. Latitude or long, I can't remember. They tried to figure out the shape of the Earth. That was basically what they did. And it took them years. And they spent thousands, millions of dollars or whatever it was. And they came back, and one of the scientists, they finally did it. And one of the scientists was in Newton's living room. I was there and was like, this is what we've been up to. This is what we've done. And Newton's like, hang on a second. And he went into like back room and he brought out paper. He's like, I figured this out like 12 years ago. And he just gave it to them. They're like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, I just looked out the window and then I did this and then that and then it basically.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, what an asshole. But also, he stuck knitting needles in his face to try and touch his brain. Like he did that shit too. So like you have to look at that, right? Like so there's certain levels of like, do you want to be the guy with a knitting needle in your face? Because if you if you catch Newton on the wrong time,
Not the smartest man.
right? Yeah.
Genius, it depends on the day.
Yeah, so if you catch him on, here's the paper of what the shape of the world is, you're like, fuck me, that's the smartest man ever. Or it's like, toast. You should catch him on that day. You know what I mean? It's all intelligence.
And also, like, imagine if you caught him on that day, and then the day after, he's just like, an apple just fell on my head in the yard. And you're just like, you're the guy with the needle in his
What is
face.
going on?
I'm not listening to you.
Okay, hold on. Needle guy, hold on. Needle gay.
That was how they bullied him.
Needle gay
That
is
sounds like the opposite of a bear.
Needle gay is my favorite Austrian folk song. And needle gay, out. Needle gay, out and out.
Edelweiss and Needlegay. Those are the most famous folk songs.
Edelweiss and Needlegay, they solve crimes.
Edelweiss and Needlegay, crack detectives. Tuesdays at 9.
Needlegay, it's needle point, asshole. I do it to release stress. You fucking shithead. Anyway, what do you want it to say? Bob's trailer. I thought so, but like, it's got to be hard to be the only redneck that does needle point. I can't put a dead deer in it. It's too hard. I don't have that level. It's complicated.
Not enough
What?
red.
Fuck who? Biden? Yeah, I can do that.
I need this on my corset by Monday.
Yeah, the ancient. That would be hard to be the first guy that came up with like novel. Like who came up with novelty T-shirts? Because the novelty T-shirt didn't exist in the 1800s.
No.
Or to be like, I'm up with Vic or some shit like that. like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like maybe they didn't. When did the novelty? What was the first novelty
And
T-shirt?
how novel would it have to be since it was the first?
Yeah, it would. It
That's
would
a
have
good
to be
point.
that
It, would
novel.
it could be one word.
It'd be like,
Exactly.
up is down. What? Thiseth man bloweth my mind.
Yeah. Like the first moving picture was just a train and people
Yes.
ran out the theaters.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's the-
Stop the carriage. This man. Hilarious is thy middle name, Sarah.
How do you button such a shirt? Where is it tucked?
So pray tell, where is stupid then? The arrow pointeth one way, but I south. I am the Job. The jest is upon me.
Call a constabulary. I've been assaulted.
Novelty teas in the old days. This is the man. This is the legend. I see, because it pointeth to your codpiece. Grand is his codpiece. Everybody, sit down.
the first reaction.
Do you have any more? He's just got the one. He's like, like gonna get beheaded if he doesn't come up with novelty
If you
teas.
see novelty now, you just kind of laugh. But
Yeah.
if it's the first time,
But
it's
back
probably
then-
like a 10-minute like
Oh, yeah.
pod break. People are just
Hold
like,
on,
Yeah.
hold on.
He toured the country.
Excrement happens. It happens. It does. It does. For us, it is in the street. People empty privies from thy window.
yeah, they don't get it right away. They're like,
Excrement happens.
Yes.
Mind blowing. So your parents had traveled to France, and all you had received. Just pitching shit, and the guy's losing his mind. It's like this is hilarious because they could have got you anything.
Yeah.
They could have got you a croissant, a bride, but no, they had brought just garments.
I just do that hours after seeing the shirt.
Oh.
Like, no.
I tell you,
Describing
I
it.
had seen the smartest,
Yeah.
the smartest placard on the back of the carriage. It said, "Commence to making noise if thou wishes for lust." And I was,
I love the idea of like going back to his manor afterwards and busting on his wife doing needlepoint. It's like, madam, if you could read, I came across.
Have you no
I
idea?
allowed you to read.
Had I allowed you to read?
The streets filled with levity. That should be the Forsooth podcast where we just talk about shit.
That's what prevented those novelty teas from happening for so long. Is that like needlepoint were for women, but we didn't let them read. So
Well, the problem with novelty teas back in the day was it
couldn't
was the
happen.
cursive. It was just so difficult. It was so difficult to read it. What does that say?
Yeah.
Why does it take so long to make the big box around the letter with all the things?
This is epiphany moment, like the fucking telephone back there where they discovered a right angle on letters. It's like, get in here! Get in here! I can make the tea without the loop.
I understand you use the name of the Lord, but what is a co-pilot? I do not understand this. I'm just saying
I know
the
this
name
pair
of the Lord.
of brothers. It'll make
Jesus-
sense. In
Jesus is thy, but then what? Pilot what is it? Anyway,
Carriage
very
mate.
exciting, very exciting. Have you seen the shit happens one? That's the one on the wall. It's like, oh,
hanging above the mantle.
yes, maketh noise if thy wish is lost.
It's hanging above the mantle, but like it's like today's undergrad. Every empty bottle of beer he's ever drank is on the mantle with it, except it's a bunch of super fancy champagne bottles.
I am a mad fop. I am a mad fop. No fop February. That's what I meant. No fop February. I shall not have a handkerchief at all. I will be very tough. And no fop February. I will not powder my wig for an entire 28 days. 29 on the leapeth. No fop February.
Holy fuck.
You don't get a lot of fop references in podcasts.
You don't.
No.
The Daily Fop would be a really great internet thing.
I think it'd be great. Yeah.
It's clickbait, but it's all fop related stuff. Just like, nah, I do not believe in this attack on the Ukraine. It gives me the vapors. Whoa! Just fopping about.
Good day, fellow dandies.
Good day. Hello, dandies. Hello, grand dandies. This is my band, the Grand Dandies. Come and see us. We play a coffee shop on the weekends. The zither is fantastic.
Yes, it is a ska band.
The origination of ska. The ska letter. Ah, yes. Fuck.
That'd be a great ska concept album. The Scarlet Letter.
Scarlet.
What's the letter? Just Scott.
Why is she grabbing all the guys' dicks? That's like ska. I don't know.
It's happy trumpet
Just
music,
happy
and it's like
trumpet.
ban the slut.
Whore. It's just like, oh man, the album where they burn her is rough. Anyway,
But
it's
we're
all yellow.
happy.
how has this turned into what this podcast is?
I have no idea.
It's
We've
not-
lost the
it's
concept.
not
Remember
what's-
plastic bags?
It is kind of. It is kind of what's wrong with Simon King in that like this
mental
is
health
what's wrong with
diagnosis.
me. It's not good. It's not good. It's bad. All right. What are we?
57.
We're at 57.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Well, I mean, we can go a little longer if you want. I
I'm
got
easy.
nowhere
I'm
to
just
be.
checking in, just so you know. I know.
You want to do a
He's
little bit
producer
more?
job.
You want to do
Yeah.
one more question?
Yeah, sure. Let's do
Let's
another
get random. Massively.
Is there a moment you regret that still haunts you to this day?
Jesus Christ.
The last 57 minutes. Is there a moment you regret that haunts you to this day?
Haunts me to this day.
Haunts you to this day.
Haunts me to this day.
moment
Something happens every day that haunts me.
to this day?
Every this isn't like a super deep one,
Are you gonna? Yeah, okay, sorry.
but every time when we were talking about Guy Pearce earlier before the podcast started, but every time I see Guy Pearce,
We were talking about Guy Pearce earlier, as we do.
As we do.
Pre-podcast banter.
Well, that's-
if I'm not in a podcast, I'm talking about Guy Pearce.
That's Pierce Be Upon You, our other podcast. Totally different podcast.
As
Asim Alama like him. Anyway.
So he's my favorite, but he was in a adaptation of the novel Time Machine.
Oh fuck! I love that novel movie. Well, not the movie.
Nobody liked the movie, but I remember it because it was
More
the first
relaxed.
time I took. It was the first time I took a girl to a movie theater. It was like my
course.
first date is like a tween was to that movie, The Time Machine with Guy Pearce, and it sucks because I love Guy Pearce. I think he's amazing, but
Yeah.
every time I see him, I think of this date because I didn't know what to do. I was very excited to be next to a girl, and I knew
Yeah.
that it's a dark movie theater where anything can happen.
Yeah. Like a bad movie.
Yeah,
bad movie
like a
can happen.
terrible adaptation.
$12 for popcorn and a shit movie. Just a bunch of blue balls and bad decisions. All right.
And I remember I was just like, this is where you can touch a girl. This is where it can happen. This is what it's meant for.
Right in your time machine.
Right in the time machine. Touch him right in the time machine, which was the working title of the movie.
Touch him in the time machine.
It had a way different concept. Missed the source material. That 40 minutes in, I finally got up the courage. I was like, I'm going to put an arm around her. But in my idiot teenage mind, I was like, I don't want to spook her. You can't just put an arm around a girl. That's
Yeah, because women are like horses.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
wanna
That's
frighten them.
exactly how I was
You don't want to
approaching
get
it.
kicked in the face.
Exactly how I approached
You
it.
hold your hand flat while you grab her boob.
You're
That's
not-
what you don't want to get punched in the face.
Funny you would say that because what I did
Oh, here we
was
go.
exactly like approaching a horse that startles easily because I didn't want to just put an arm around her. That would be crazy.
Yeah, you
so
wouldn't
I
do
held
that.
up my hand flat and put it on her shoulder nearest to me and held it there for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
But because I figured, like, if she's okay with this, she'll be okay with the full arm. As if this wasn't fucking weird enough.
Yeah, no, at this point, you've just been like, I don't want you close to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like if
this
she,
is
if
not good.
If a lady can handle you putting a flat palm on the near shoulder to you for 15 minutes, she'll let you do anything. Like
that's
Is he
consent
pushing
is.
me away
Yeah, exactly.
from her?
Like, am
Is
I
this a
about to
sign
give
of
her?
affection?
Like, I'm just waiting for the scary scene to
it
shove
just-
her away.
It just looks like you fucked up a high five and can't admit it.
So I'm like, this is what I meant to do.
This movie looks great. Oh shit, that's her arm.
So I did.
No, there's no hand there.
Yeah.
You
2
just
hours of this.
paralyzed.
There's a second Guy Pearce showed up on the screen for the first time. I was like, yeah.
If she didn't smell like baby powder, I'd be all right. But she does, and I'm fucked. I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
So that's a regret. That every time I see Guy Pearce now, I think of my
I gotta
flat
say,
hand
when
on the
it
shoulder.
started out, I didn't think this was going to be worthy of that. I thought I was going to like, fuck it. He's ducking the question. No, it's worth it.
He just held this girl for 2 hours.
Regretful. Wow.
Yeah. If you're going on a date with a girl,
That's the
don't treat
kind
her
of,
like a
that's the
scared
kind of
horse.
contact you're allowed to have during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, arms
It's like
like
you
away.
like the plague's happening.
See, I was just ahead of my time.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I can't top that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
One time I kicked a girl in the face because I liked her. Anyway, the point is,
It was also during a Guy Pearce
during a
movie.
Guy Pearce movie, Orlando Bloom, and that's how I end every sentence. Orlando Bloom.
That's how he closes the podcast.
Because you see, like I just cut my hand on the fucking thing. I regret that, but I got vodka, so I'm fine. I think, you see, the thing is, like, I have OCD and terrible anxiety, so I regret everything. Like, you're constant, like, I literally am one of those guys who, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be like, remember that email you sent in 2001? Like, I literally am that guy.
Yeah.
And so I can't pick, it's like a cornucopia of terrible shit that I've done that isn't terrible. Like, to the point where, like, I'll have one extra drink and be a little tiny bit tipsy and then feel like I've just embarrassed myself and destroyed my reputation for a week and a half.
Right.
Like, and it's not just like you wake up and you go, oh, fuck, a rough night. I blacked out and I fucking headbutted that bouncer. God only knows. I think I stole someone's keys. No, it'll be like, oh man, I was a tiny bit drunk when I said goodbye to someone. I should probably hang myself. Like, I'm just like at that, like I have that level. Like, actually, I legitimately see suicide as a way to get out of social uncomfort.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
So this question's like asking you, what's your favorite, most
What?
hated raindrop in a rainstorm?
It's
You're like, this is
impossible.
constant.
It's like, how many grains of sand are there in a beach? There's more fucked up shit in here. And it's like you can, and it's really is revolving. It's the exciting part, but you literally have no idea from one minute to the next what is going to be upsetting you.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. I mean, the dumb thing is like, it literally is something as stupid as like, did I look at that flight attendant the wrong way and now she hates me? Or did I like did I hold the door too long for someone and they didn't like it? Or did I not hold the door for someone long enough? And
I
they
think
didn't like
everybody
it?
hates that.
Yeah.
Everybody has that. I hate opening the door for anybody because I'm
Yeah.
certain I've calculated the distance.
And as white men, we try to not open dours.
We do.
Yeah,
It's
get
our
over the
favorite.
fuss.
It's a favorite thing to do. Open the door for
But
me
it
and
is-
no one.
But I think, yeah, like it's like really weird. Like I don't think it's any. And the funny thing is, it's sort of like abstract concept of like it's never really like anything I can tie down to a particular incident, like anything I've said or anything I've done. It's always like just some. It's just like by being me, I've just like somehow crossed a line. You know what I mean? Like every morning you wake up and go, Jesus, this guy, and it's you. You know what I mean? Like every morning, like you're just sitting there and you're like making coffee for yourself. I'm like, this guy fucking likes this coffee. You're like, I'm this guy, and I hate him, and I'm like watching him and like fucking get him. I don't like this character. New character, and you're like, well, we don't have any new character. Guy Pearce isn't in this.
It sounds like you're the opposite of a sociopath. Would you rather worry too much or not worry at all?
Jesus Christ, if I could raise my son to be a fucking sociopath, I'd do it in a second.
They're more
I've seriously thought about bringing shelter cats home and killing them in front of him just to toughen him up. Just like, twist it off. They're not real. Humans are objects. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, trying to, in a way...
I did not expect that sentence to go
Because
that
the
way.
thing is like, he's so emotional and so sweet and so lovely, and it's gonna fuck him over. And I am so weak. I'm such a weak person. I'm such a path of least resistance human because I desperately want... Well, I'm a comedian for a reason. Yeah. I desperately don't want anyone to not like me. Even people who deserve to not like me. Like, there's people who've done shit to me that I'm like, I can't believe I'm still talking to this human. Yeah. And yet, because I am terrified of the idea that, I mean, and it's almost always nothing to do with you. You know, like you'll be in a situation, you'll be like, that person was really weird to me today. Did I do something? And then you just go back over the last 10 years. You're like, it's nothing to do with you. Their fucking car broke down, or they fucking stubbed their toe, or their wife died, or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, that's a rough one. They shouldn't be out. Why are you out? Stay home. Your wife died? Go home. What are you doing a set for? But it's like, it's one of those things where you just like feel like, yeah, I mean, I just feel like it must be so comforting to not care. Like to be able to lie down at night and be like, nah, I don't give a shit. Fuck them. People are nothing. And then, but I also have this fantasy of like making him like a Dexter, like but a billionaire. Like so, making him like a billionaire that just kills other billionaires or whatever. Like takes from billionaires. Like all he does is like I'm gonna program you to be a monster for the monsters. And you're like, okay, I like the color purple. Cool. Listen, here's what's gonna happen. Paw Patrol is a lie, and then just like send him out there with a head full of anger. But it's also like, you know, I think the way things get better is the opposite, right? Like love is supposed to win. So the pamphlet says it's never fucking true, but it's supposed to be. And so you just, if you're a person who cares, it drains you so much. Like I tweeted once that kind people suffer. That's just the way the world is. Kind people suffer. But kind people are kind not because they choose to be kind, because they are. And so what can you do to change that? You shouldn't change that. We should not punish those that are empathetic and kind and open and decent. But the world punishes them for us because it's not designed. Yeah. Human beings are not designed to care. We're designed to survive, to take, I mean, I used to have this joke about like, I'm like, you know, here's why sociopaths and psychopaths are better than us. Because if you're a cave dweller and you go out with 6 other cave dwellers and you kill 1 wildebeest, that's enough food for 7 cave dwellers. Or you kill 6 cave dwellers and now it's enough food for you and everybody else, and you get everyone's wives and your bloodline continues. And that's what it is. And that's sad, but that's true. That's the way we evolved.
Yeah.
The strong survive and the others get podcasts. And that's the way it works.
So that was a real pro-cannibalism kind of bit.
I mean, I'm pro-cannibalism anyway, just in general. Sometimes I'll see a chubby fella and I'll be like, that guy right there.
I'm over the lean meats.
You know, we're at the lake. It's a hot weekend. No one bought steaks. You know what I mean? I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying some of them. You know, the good bits. You know, the rump.
Yeah.
Fat guy rump. Hey, that's my favorite hip hop album. Oh my God, I like big rumps because they taste so great. Like cannibalism. Sir Mix-a-Lot, but it's cannibalistic. It's like, Jesus Christ, I like big butts and I cannot lie. I like to make them fry. It's like, whoa! I can only do cannibalistic hip-hop. It's really rough for me. It's like all I can do.
It's a niche market.
Toes
Pays really
great.
well, weirdly.
It does. It's very fetish. Toes taste great.
A lot of German Euros in that game.
All right, well, I think that's probably our podcast. I think.
That was great.
We're over time now.
We're overtime. We went overtime,
I have to cut so much.
No, we're not cutting anything. You don't know how this works. There's no editing. Whatever
Oh.
you've said here will haunt you.
Oh,
That's
good.
how this
Good,
works.
good,
We know
good.
to watch Oak grow up because he's going to be what, the billionaire Dexter. He's going to start knocking off.
I want billionaire Dexter.
Yeah,
No.
that's great. That's
I want-
great. I'm
yeah.
looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
me-
That's awesome. Yeah. Just kill another billionaire.
A billionaire that kills billionaires. Where's that superhero?
No.
I was on a podcast once and we were talking about that, and I go, "This is how powerful just money is." Superman's the most powerful being on the planet, and his arch enemy is just a rich white guy. Just a guy with money. Like, that's his enemy.
Yeah.
Just a dude who's good at real estate.
Yeah.
Guy flips a couple houses. Superman's like, "Whoa, fuck me."
Yeah. Better than a
Bezos
demigod.
is essentially-
Superman's got heat vision. This guy's just real good at picking a deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, let's negotiate. It's like, Superman's like, I gotta go back to Krypton.
Superman's weaknesses are kryptonite.
How do
and
stock
rich white
options
men.
work?
Superman's just uncomfortable because there's an HOA. He's like, I gotta have a Christmas tree or not. And Lex Luthor's like, so, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really
Absolutely, thank
appreciate
you.
it. What do you want to plug? Where can people find you?
On my Instagram, Gavin Clarkson Comedy.
Gavin Clarkson. He's very, very funny. You wouldn't know it by the podcast, but he's really funny. I really appreciate you coming here. For
thanks
people
for having
who
me.
are listening at home, like I said, please go on the Patreon, patreon.com/This Is Simon King, and I will post one bonus episode every month on there, and maybe some thing. We'll do some episodes just you and me as well, Mikey.
Sure, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Do you want to plug anything, Mikey?
Yeah.
That's enough. Okay, so the point is, takes too long. You gotta move fast, right? You can't just get in.
You gotta know what you're plugging.
I'll be ready next time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
here
just
for a
gotta get
reason.
you're like, buyfireworks.com. I don't know.
We get this by the hour.
Hey, you think of the Tonight Show? They're just like, so what do you want to hear to plug? And they're like, I don't know, man. What are you?
Whatever. I always hate those guys too.
I'm
They
just
pretend
hanging
they
out.
didn't know.
This guy is going to appear in your living room Wednesday.
No, what's
Oh no, I got the Val Kilmer podcast.
What's your,
That's
yeah, there you go. The Val
There we go.
Kilmer. That's a
Kilmer. We
fun
love Val.
fucking. We
Val
did that.
Kilmer.
I did
We
that.
did
with
it.
you. It's
Yeah,
fun.
you killed it.
We
did
talked
2
about
hours.
Top Gun and Iron Eagle. Check that shit
And we're
out.
gonna do an Iron Eagle episode, and Patrick Malio's obsessed with it too,
Fuck.
apparently.
Iron Eagle's a fucking. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Jesus Christ.
And then you and Patrick both talk about it with such reverence.
Oh, dude,
I have to
Iron Eagle
fucking
is
see
one
it.
of those movies where, like, as a kid, I was like, "This is amazing," and as an adult, I'm like, "It's amazing," but for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, dear.
It's a 18-year-old kid steals an F-16 Fighting Falcon and destroys the Libyan Air Force.
And it was made in quick reaction
And
to
it was,
Top
yeah,
Gun.
and all of the footage is different stock footage because they didn't bother to fucking rent an F-16.
Yeah.
So it's all got like different missiles on it and shit. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No
And
continuity.
then sometimes it's a 2-seater, sometimes it's a 1-seater. Who gives a shit? You're out there, right? And then what's his face? Louis Gossett Jr.'s in it. In what has got to be from the guy who won, like, didn't he win an Oscar for Oscar? I don't know. Gentleman and a fucking Officer and a Gentleman. And then he does this, like, and then Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid, which you have to see.
Do you know what the director?
No,
went on
I
to
haven't
do?
seen that one.
The director directed Ladybugs with Ronnie Dangerfield. Eventually.
What are you gonna do? He should have directed Iron Eagle with Ryan Dangerfield. I gotta save my dad. I gotta fly him and shoot these guys. You know, all right. Just Rodney Dangerfield in action movies. Hey, Goose, you gotta eject. All right. Hey, we're on a flat spin.
You also have a special you might want to promote.
Rambo Dangerfield. Oh, you know, hey, all right. I'm gonna take on the whole army. Oh. Rodney Dangerfield and 80s action movies. Why is that not its own thing?
That'd be terrific.
We should just dub a bunch of 80s action movies.
I think that'd be the
Oh, this is the real blood sport. I don't think anyone says this is the real blood sport.
No, but
in
that's how he would
Bloodsport.
say it.
But he would, oh, what are you gonna do? You know, the real blood sport every time. That time of the month for my wife. You know, anyway. All right. Fucking just Rodney Dangerfielding it up. Iron Eagle talking about my mother-in-law. Right? Hey, all right. What are you gonna do? The Rodney cast. The Podney Danger cast or whatever. All right, so that's it. I think
plug your special.
Oh yeah, you should check out if you're on the YouTube channel, look up and then go to the special As Good As or Better Than. It's directed by Rory Scovel, who's amazing. Yeah, one person applauded, and then Gavin doesn't know it's good for his career. And so
I golf clap. It was away from the mic.
Yeah, check out the special, As Good As or Better Than. Share it, send it to everybody. If Netflix is watching this, you missed your fucking chance. We have 1,800 views. Do you understand that?
And counting.
And counting. Maybe 1835 by the time this is out. Who knows? This could be fucking October. I don't know. I'm never gonna get around to it.
He will take your calls, however.
And you can follow me on Twitter at I'm Famous, and follow me on Instagram at This Is Simon King. And please, bong, hello, ciao liao, tea. That was weird. So please rate, review, and subscribe. And thank you very much, Gavin Clarkson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Maggie Greenwood.